things first, pleasure to speak with you all. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. So individually, I'm going to ask you all, how are we doing? How are you doing today?
We're great.
Doing good. Yeah.
We're doing good.
Anything going on today? What's going on today?
Just band practice, do this interview, and then band practice. So
What we practicing for? Anything specific happening right now? Is it just keeping, you know, the wheels greased, as it were?
we do have our album release show in 2 weeks. So we're just getting ready for that, actually.
That's good to know. Absolutely. What's the set list looking like for that? Are you settled on it? How you want to do? You're going to do the whole album in full, that kind of thing?
Yes, we are planning on playing the album from start to finish. Yes.
That's a hell of a show. I love album release shows like that. We don't actually get enough of them done over here in our country, in the UK, but I love album release shows that are just that, beginning to end, and that's it. Doesn't need anything else, even if you've got a big back catalogue.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
It's fun.
Sorry.
That's okay. That is going to happen. So no big deal. It's been obviously a few weeks now since the release of the new album. A couple of weeks out and about, walking on its own at 2 feet. Post recordings, Dunk Records put it out. So have things kind of calmed down now for you? Because obviously the whole release period, the build up to that point can be incredibly busy. And afterwards, there are still lots of things to do. So have things started to calm down now for you? And are you able to appreciate what you've accomplished here?
I think things are still, I mean, they're a little calm, but we're trying to keep the hype and buzz going, of course. Things are good here. We're just getting ready, you know, like I said, to play the album release show. We're hoping to get our vinyl records here soon, so we'll have that. And then, yeah, things are still going. We want them to keep going. But yeah.
Keeping that buzz going, that's always the hardest thing. So, right, so you've got the album release show. That's the focus afterwards. That is keeping the excitement going, not just for you, but also anyone that's planning to attend that show. But keeping that buzz going on as the album's out and it's released amongst obviously other music, and then the week later more music's released. The week after that more music is released, and so on and so forth. How do you go about? Do you have a strategy, a plan in your head of how to keep the excitement and the buzz around the album over the next couple of months?
I would say mainly it's just our listeners. If they like it, they keep spreading it. We keep, you know, pushing it out there on social media. We do what we can. But it's always more word of mouth. You know what I mean? Somebody hears it, they like it, they keep it going, they keep talking about it. These interviews, stuff like this, what we're doing just to keep it going.
I think we have some ideas of like doing more, like maybe do a video or something, but it will all depend on our schedules and if we can fit that in.
Right.
But yeah, maybe a tour. Like we're hoping to have some more fun stuff, but
whatever you can basically do, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So we have this show. We haven't played actually here in Salt Lake. The last show we played in Salt Lake was almost a year ago. And it was after our tour that we did with Post Fest. And that was with, I'm trying to remember that, Lennon from Vienna and Mighty Missoula from Portland, Oregon. So that was the last time we played here. So we're hoping, like with this show being on a Saturday, we'll bring more people out. They'll hear it. They'll buy the record, and then it will just kind of keep going from there. It's kind of like that snowball, you know, like they just keeps going and everyone keeps pushing it and all that. So
it is a snowball effect, because ultimately a couple of weeks is an impossibly short amount of time to judge how, say, an album has done or what the reaction is like overall. We come back to this a year, 6 months to a year down the line, then you can probably have a look at the reaction to it. But early reactions, early thoughts, early feelings seem to be incredibly positive on it, which is fantastic to hear. So far, are you satisfied with the response to the record?
Very.
Oh,
Very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
satisfied.
Very
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. We've been doing well. We sold out of it. I believe in Europe, it's already sold out for Dunk. The US, we're still pushing it. But yeah, no, we are very happy with what the response we are getting.
Because we were really excited about it while we were writing it. We loved it, so it's been awesome to see that other people are loving it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You never know, and it's when people like it, it's always very, very flattering.
It's fantastic to hear. I'm glad it's done so well already. But let's step back then. So we're going to go right back to the earliest point of its creation. And I want to sort of specifically know if you had a vision. So, you're going to write a new album, you've got to work at it. Did you have a vision for what you wanted this album to be?
I think so. We were focused more on just like the horror movie type vibe, with music. So we wanted it to be a little bit heavier than Stella Mori. So we brought Wes in guitar on second guitar, and then Eric, we brought him back on keys and stuff. He added a few. They're on, I think it's 11. He added the piano. That was his piano line that he put at the beginning of that. And then Eric's back in the band too. So we have this 5-piece now, and we're hoping to get a little bit more. Just a little more intricate, more metal, a little bit more post-metal than post-rock. That's what we did on this album for sure. We went heavier, and then we also branched out a little bit and got a little bit more creative with programming stuff, drums, acoustic meets electric, stuff like that. So yeah, we kind of just went for it, right?
Yeah.
Trying to make it something that we liked.
Yeah.
What sparked this level of creativity off? Can you put your finger on anything specifically, particularly in the early days, that kind of was that got the electrical parts kind of going in your head?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Just from stuff that, for me, on drums personally, stuff I've heard, from like bands like This Will Destroy You, or other bands that have just mixed the electric drums with acoustic and then brought them together, you know what I mean? And then I really wanted to go for, on some of the songs, more of a old industrial, like almost 9 Inch Nails type, drum beats and parts and stuff, just to see how that mixed. And we think it turned out pretty well. It's pretty interesting what we put together with it. But yeah. And I also think we kind of went back to our album Beyond the Sea, Beneath the Sky, that was a little bit more post-metal, more of a story the whole way through. And we incorporated that into this with, of course, adding second guitar that added a lot more, like more dynamics to the music and stuff.
Yeah,
there's less crescendo, right? There's more like...
I was going to say, I feel like the second guitar kind of drove a lot of the writing too, like having that in there, because I came back into the band. I played with them for a period of time, like 2009 to 2013.
Yep.
And I moved away for a while. I came back, and they had 11.
Oh yeah, we had 3 songs kind of.
Yeah, they kind of like started, and so I was kind of working on that, and then the Trevor, who had been playing keys, quit, and so we were kind of talking like, wow, I think a second guitar would be really cool, like the 3 of us, Dave and me. And so we reached out to Wes and asked like, hey, do you know anybody that would want to? And Wes was like,
I will.
It kind of just all fell together, which is the way, good things happen. They just kind of work out. You know what I mean? It just, with Wes being our producer and working with him in the past to record Stella Mori, the first person I reached out to, like Adrienne was saying, was Wes. And yeah, he was totally like, what about me?
Yeah.
So it's, so we were like, yeah, what about you? Let's do this.
Yeah.
Was it really as straightforward as that, Wesley? And was it literally like you put your hand up and said, mate, please?
It totally was that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That, as you say, it's fantastic when it is as simple as that, and it all comes together so simply. Because obviously when it comes to writing, creating a new album, particularly when you are adding new levels of dynamic sound and you might be going in a heavier direction than you previously was done, it can be quite complex. At what stage did you start to realize you had what looked like an album coming together?
Wow, that's
Yeah.
well, we had the three songs, and then we had, I mean, Dave.
And they evolved.
Yeah, Dave, our guitarist, he puts everything mainly together, and then we'll sit down, and then him and Wes really just kind of went to town on it, came up with
Yeah.
all this stuff, and then, you know, we
spent a couple, so
pre-production days.
Wes does archive recordings, and so we booked some time in his studio for pre-production, and that was really
When it all started.
Yeah.
really
when we
coming
started.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
we
really helpful.
We started throwing our ideas together, recording them, listening back, kind of playing around with parts and ideas, and we put together a record pretty quickly. So.
Yeah.
Fair to say, not a lot ended up on the cutting room floor. It was all quite clear and concise.
We did have some stuff on the
Yeah.
cutting room floor for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it was nice to have that ability to, you know, kind of listen to it and go, okay, there's something right here. Like, let's build on that. And then listen to something else and go, I don't know if that fits with where everything else is going. That was super helpful.
Would you say across the writing process that as a group, you were in the same headspace, you all were on the same path, or agreeing with pretty much everything?
We all
Yeah.
have the same vision and
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
theme and
Except,
yeah,
yeah,
movie
'cause
vibe.
with
I
I Hear,
guess.
with I Hear Sirens, it's always, our music is always more written on a theme or a vision. Like if we have an idea, it's easier for us to write, especially with us being an instrumental band. It's
course.
easier to write that way. But a lot of times too, and I feel like this happened with this album, once we got all of us together, I feel like the songs kind of started just writing themselves because everything was just working out so well. So we didn't fight anything really. We just kind of improv on stuff. We're like, oh yeah, that's cool. And like maybe Wes would come up with a line or something, like, yeah, let's take it from there. And then him and Dave would just kind of collaborate with that and get things going. And then
Yeah, it's kind of weird actually how easy it was in a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
ways. Like we didn't have a lot of disagreements or
Yeah.
like I'm really with this part and we
Right.
have to keep it. Like all of us, you know, like we'd listen to it and go, oh yeah, no, that needs to go. We all
Yeah.
were on board, you know, which was really, really nice.
I mean, what's to complain about a wonderfully nice, smooth process? Ultimately, that is a joy to hear on my end, because the last thing I want to do is hear how stressful. I have done enough interviews where people have bemoaned the stresses and the horrors of an entire
Right.
writing recording session. To hear your joy of the experience is warm, heartwarming.
Right. And there wasn't a lot of adversity with this album, which was great. I feel like things kind of came together and worked out really well. And I think a lot of that had to do with the way we did it this time. Is we did more pre-production with this and spent more time in the studio figuring things out before we actually recorded it.
Oh, really? Okay, so that was significantly different to any kind of way you've done it previously.
Yeah, previously we'd usually just write stuff and I'd bring it to you and be like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what we're gonna do. But yeah, it's more worked out where we could do a lot of cutting and pasting, you know, where we had stuff on there where we're like, oh yeah, let's move this part here and here, instead of just trying to, you know, put it all together at once. It just felt more fluent. It felt more like it just flowed really, like it just worked out really well.
Enough so that is the blueprint for the future, you would say, and the fact that you had such a good time with it.
Yeah, I think like doing that way, yes. I feel like it's a lot more smooth that way.
Yeah, we can definitely expand on it.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Use it as an experience to try new things on the next one. But
Yep.
yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Talk to me then about horror and how that played a part in the writing of the album.
That's interesting too, because some of us, I mean, all of us, I'm sure all of us like have always appreciated music in the background music, in movies and stuff.
Of-
And with this, our idea mainly was to try to release this by Halloween and do like a more horror vibe like type thing. And
Right.
I think more of it started when Davey, our guitarist, he started writing stuff, and we're like, oh yeah, that totally reminds me of like Watch or Pray, like somebody's, in the woods just hanging out, and they're, like a Friday the 13th or Jason type movie, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think more than anything, like we just kind of went with it. We're like, yeah, let's do a horror type vibe album. And especially with the artwork, when me and Dave found, we got that artwork from Enrique, this our artist who lives in, Enrique Morales, who he'd done like our artwork for Stella, or not Stella, for a couple singles that we did after Stella, and he did this one. And this one really kind of pointed like with that moth, whatever, the hawk moth or the skull moth, that really just kind of put the whole album into, okay, this is darker. This is going to be a much darker, album. So it just worked out that way. But I don't know about as far as horror movies. I mean, I
don't like horror movies.
You know, like to be scared.
Yeah,
I
don't love them, but
yeah, I like mood music, and
Yeah.
anything that's going to capture a mood is really easy to write and stuff too.
Yeah, I find this fascinating. So, of course, I am not the person responsible for writing our review of it. That was someone else from the site, but I am the person doing the interview. So, with that, of course, I had to go and check out and listen to what the fuss was about, particularly because it's come from my older brother. And hearing, oh, horror, my initial thought was, okay, horror movies, because it's a natural direction that you would think a person goes in. And then you listen and then you understand that, of course, that's not quite that is not the case at all. It's not, oh, here's a song that sounds like it could belong, or a song based on, say, Friday the 13th or Halloween. It's mood music, as you say. And that, I think, once you know that going into it, it opens your eyes. It's one of the most incredible things about the album, how well that works.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
So I'm a massive horror nerd anyway, so naturally I was going to love that. Talk to me about setting yourself creative boundaries, though. You've been doing this a while, without trying to age you. So that means, of course, you've got many different facets of creativity to go to. Did you have any lines in the sand in regards to what you were going to do in this album?
We don't have any rules or anything.
No.
As long as we felt it flowed.
Yeah.
Worked. Yeah.
I think like, so wait, so what are you asking? What?
Did you set any creative boundaries?
Oh, creative boundaries. No, we kind of just leave it. I think that's just left open more to seeing what everybody brings to the table, right? Because all of us come from we all like different music. We all like different things. And like, I mean, post rock, you don't really think, like, just with my sound, for me speaking for my end, with drums, I wanted to do something a little bit more creative than Stella. But then sometimes if I get too creative, Davey, he's like, let's keep it metal, let's keep it heavier and heavier. And then I'll go back to my old roots and play heavier beats. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is much better. But like songs like Pell Rider, I mean, that song is so interesting because the beginning, it's just got like this whole, repetitive, hypnotic guitar line that brings you in. And then the drums come in with like almost like these big boom shots, whatever. And then it goes into like this big old gallopy beat thing, you know what I mean? So it's almost like a ghost rider on a horse, if you painted a visual for that. Right. So it's, I think like we keep the creative thing open for all of us. No, nothing gets really shut down until we're right at that moment where we're like, that kind of is not working right here. So
yeah, I don't think anything's off the table when we're writing.
Yeah.
As long as it feels good.
Yeah.
It makes sense to us, we'll use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times, I mean, you'll hear like an instrument just with keys. Eric will have something and we'll hear it and we're like, yeah, that's cool, but that alone, that sounds like something that doesn't, you know, fit the music, and then we put stuff together, and it's like brilliant, and it sounds so good when everything comes together, when all the other instruments are added, or drums too, or even guitars. It's all one big old creative thing with all of us to make what we make.
It's fantastic. So when you look back then across the overall, the entire creative process of the new album, and I'm talking from the very first note being played to the album being released, what are some of your favorite memories?
Oh
Oh,
wow.
that's a good question. For me, I think that first time that we came in to do pre-production
Yeah.
it was like we all just kind of we just sat and we all had our like coffee or tea and we're just kind of messing around and like, oh, that was really cool, like
Yep.
keep playing that, like play that, okay, now I'm gonna try this. And like that was just a great, like I felt we didn't keep everything from that day, but it was just such a good creative, like flowing, I don't know. And it was nice too because there wasn't any like, oh, why are you even thinking that would work? Like there wasn't any of that. It was just like, oh yeah, no, that was really cool. And we all just, it was a really positive and like, I don't know. That was probably my favorite.
That's my whole favorite part of it, is just throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see what sticks.
Exactly.
And,
yeah. The pre-production day was a great day.
Yeah,
sure.
that very first one was like, okay. And it felt like I think we all kind of were like, okay, we've got some cool stuff happening that we were all kind of excited about.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah, that would be it for me.
It's amazing because that's almost something that'd be impossible to replicate any other time until you do a new record, I guess.
Right. And we'll see what happens with that. This one went great. The other one will go great too.
Yeah.
But it's like with the nice because you just have more ideas and more things to bounce off and more things to try. Possibly vocals, stuff like that. Just experimenting with different things. We want to do like 2 singles and then 2 covers, and the covers will have vocals. Just to see how that goes and stuff. We always want to keep pushing forward and not stay complacent. We want to keep moving and going forward with things.
Oh, wait to see what comes next. But for now, though, so we've still got this. It's still so fresh. It's still got so many legs on it so far to go. So for you, what would success for the new album look like?
What does success for the new album look like?
Yeah. So I don't know. Let's 6 to 12 months down the line, you look back. What do you hope it will have accomplished?
More tours, more doors opening for us, but most importantly, more people enjoying the music. I mean, we've met just with this album, met some people that have chimed in that, have had some hard times and stuff, and this stuff is really helping them. And that's, for me, that's why I like to do music. Anything that we can do. And when to help people, and people reach out to you and they say, you have no idea what I'm going through right now, and your music is really helping me with this. That means everything to us and to me. Like that's great. But yeah, more doors opening, more tours, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Totally realistic. Yeah, very realistic. Obviously, ideally, alongside that, a ton of money to help you continue to produce and create music as well.
Money, musicians, we don't really make money. We do this because we love doing what we do. We don't.
Oh yeah, if you come out and said that at the start, I laugh. But there we go. What do you hope listeners take away from the album, though?
That's a good question too. Just basically, I hope they enjoy it as much as we do. Yeah. And to hear people say that they do, that means everything, right? That means you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Am I correct in saying next year, 2025, is your 20th anniversary?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What do you have any plans at the moment in the works to potentially celebrate such a phenomenal accomplishment?
Yeah, next year is going to be a busy year. That's all I got to say. Yeah.
Say
we
no
wanna do
more.
some- we want to do it. We would really want to do something special. We'll talk to the labels and see what we can do. But there's some stuff in the talks, like in the works.
Fabulous. How do you explain your longevity? Because let's be honest, 20 years, that is an incredible accomplishment in this industry these days.
Yeah, I guess it's the passion you have for the music that you write, right? I mean, me and Dave, guitar player, we've been doing this, yeah, since 2005, and I don't know.
Yeah, I was
There's a
gonna say.
lot of member changes, a lot of different, you know, a lot of adversity through those years, definitely.
Well, I was just gonna say, like Dave Qualls and Dave Harris, they're kind of they're the heartbeat of the band.
The
like,
two Daves.
Yeah, they are what has kept it going, and without them, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of adversity because you go through members and stuff, but the cool thing with I Hear Sirens is everybody that we've had in this band, we always consider them still family. They're always going to be a part of what we've done and what we're doing. And yeah, the big 20 is coming up, and we're going to have a big celebration.
Yeah,
we just have to figure out what we want to do.
Before then, we continue to celebrate the release of a phenomenal new album. Of course, the album release show in 2 weeks' time. Before you go, got a couple more just want a couple more minutes of your time. This is Ozzy Osbourne, and in his head are random cards of everything and everything, including a ton of submissions by other bands and artists that we've spoken to over the years. At this point, what I do is I pull some out at random, and you answer them, all in the name of fun. Considering there's 3 of you, please all offer an answer if you feel like you've got one. Sound good?
Okay.
Yep.
All right, you start with, what is your favorite musical? Be it a film musical or a stage musical.
Oh, wow. So many. Musical. What is yours, Adrienne?
I will, like, so as a kid, I grew up watching like stuff like The Music Man and Oklahoma, and and I loved all that.
Yeah.
But probably more recently, Matilda was great. Tim Minchin's music on that is amazing. That would probably be it for me.
I don't know. Musicals for me, I mean, when I was a kid, I loved Grease.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah, so but the musical I got to see when I was in the UK, when me and my partner, we got, after we got married, we went on a honeymoon and we went to the UK. We got to see Chicago.
Okay.
That was really cool. That live. That was fun. But I don't know if I have a favorite.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of musicals.
I was gonna say, are you a musical guy?
I'm not really. I went to the Book of Mormon.
Oh, did you go see that?
Which is funny. Yeah.
It counts.
Yeah.
And of course, when we were kids, The Sound of Music, all of us.
Oh,
yeah.
That was something that
it's a classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Okay, then let's move on to this one. Late nights or early mornings?
Oh, late nights for me, for sure.
What are we in favor of? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. What kind of person are you? Are you a late nighter or are you an early morning get up and go person?
Yeah, I'm definitely a night owl, but then I pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The older I get, the less I want to stay out, but that is
exactly.
I tend to do both.
Yeah.
Stay up late and wake up early.
I wish I could. I mean, I wake up at 8, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess it all depends what goes on in life as well, as much as anything else. I mean, I'm a night owl personally, but sometimes I have to be up for work at like 5 in the morning. So sometimes I can't be, even if I wanted to be,
Yeah.
Okay, who is someone that you cite as an inspiration? This can be from any walk of life. It doesn't have to be music specifically. So someone you cite as an inspiration to you personally. Stumped you on that one.
Well, I think my brain just keeps going back to music.
Yeah.
So
Go for it.
I like Kim Deal from the Breeders and the Pixies, like
Incredible, yeah.
huge. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, if it's music and I'm a drummer, obviously it's John Bonham.
Okay.
Led Zeppelin's the old drummer, yeah. Inspiration though, I don't know. I'd say my dad,
Yeah.
my late dad, yes.
Steve Albini for me is an audio guy. Rest in peace. He's one of my favorite engineers in the world. Amazing stuff. So yeah, definitely Steve Albini for me.
Right, cool. All right. Booze related one here. Alcohol. What is your go-to cocktail?
Oh, that's easy, just whiskey on the rocks, but it's not a cocktail, so I'd have to say a old fashioned.
Close enough, right? That's very similar. What about you guys?
Whiskey guy. So answer. Usually whiskey on the rocks, but old fashioned technically. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm lame because I don't drink. So.
What about we call them mocktails, where they're non-alcoholic cocktails. Do you have one of them?
So I used to live in Philly, and there was a restaurant that would do like a fennel basil lemon mocktail that was amazing.
Wow.
So that would be my.
That sounds delicious.
It was so good.
Okay, give me one thing about you that fans would be surprised to know.
Oh. One thing about us that fans would be surprised to know.
Yeah.
I'll go to music. I am a Katy Perry fan.
What? I'm surprised to know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
All right.
Eric knows that.
Yeah. I mean, she has obviously done some incredible songs. You know, I can't deny that.
I know it's pop, and I know it's not great, but it's catchy, and I don't know, I just like it.
Yeah. You like what you like, exactly that. Okay, tell me something great about your hometown.
Oh, okay. I always say Salt Lake City is great because I feel like we kind of live in a bubble here. It's like a storybook. We have mountains, you know, it's beautiful here. And it's something that, you know, if people want to, I feel safe here a lot. And it's just a beautiful place to live. The nightlife has gotten a little better, but it's not, you know, it's what it is.
It's a small city, but it's like the scene, you know, like I think we all kind of grew up in this scene of music too, and it's a very small scene because it's a small city, and so you kind of know everybody, and it's kind of nice. Like you can go to a show and, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in 10 years, and you know, like, hey, how's it going? You know, that's pretty nice. Do you want to add, Wes?
Salt Lake City, we have a amazing music scene where
and everyone's so passionate about it.
My favorite part of it is all the different bands of different genres just still hang out together, play shows together. It's a ton of cross genre shows, and it's great.
Yeah.
That's why that question exists in that head, is because you know, from a personal perspective, look, you know, I've spoken to many different American bands and artists over the years, and you're the first I think I've ever spoken to from Salt Lake City, so I know absolutely nothing about it bar what I've learned over my 40 years on this planet, which is very bloody little. Put it this way, it's not exactly in a list of like American tourist destination cities and towns and places. It's not going to be quite high up there, is it?
No, it's
probably not typically for most people, but like Dave said, we do have amazing mountains around us. Like the Great Salt Lake is pretty amazing too. Yeah, like we have gorgeous stuff down south. We're very outdoorsy in Salt Lake. I think.
Okay, one more then for you before we call it tonight. And it's last but not least, what is a great film score?
You guys go. I'll think about it. Yeah,
Poke
Moon,
your head in there.
Moon or Interstellar. The movie Interstellar. That soundtrack bored me. The movie The Jacket. I think Clint Mansell did The Jacket. That stuff is really, really, really good. Really good ambient. Just that makes the movie even better.
You guys got one?
Interstellar.
Yeah.
Interstellar.
Yeah.
And Moon.
Moon, yeah.
Did we get that soundtrack for Moon? Was that Mansell? It wasn't Clint Mansell, was it? It was Davey might know. Anyways, yeah, those two. And
Great choices, but what else is a great choice? Of course, is the latest album, and of course the album release show in, you said, 2 weeks' time. That is going on. Can you give that a bit of a plug? What venue and what video is that at?
So it's on September 21st here in Salt Lake City. It's at Aces High with our friends Ryle and the band and our friends Bad Charm.
Fantastic, there it is. But in the meantime, of course, wish you the best of luck over the next couple of months with the release of this new album and seeing how well it does as time goes by, including in 2025, where we look very much forward to seeing what your plans are. Hopefully they're plans that bring you further afield. There's a whole goddamn continent over here that needs to see you. We'd love to have you over the UK as soon as possible. Fingers crossed something like that was to happen. And until that point, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.